Hello all, thanks for stopping by the channel. Today I'm looking at Micromages for the NES. This is a modern NES game created by MorphCat Studios and released in 2019. Now, I found this game accidentally. I was just perusing YouTube on how Nintendo games were made, and I happened to stumble upon this video. Basically, this was a video that the developers made about this game, how they made it, and not only was that video excellent, but the game looked awesome. Basically, they designed this game to the same standards as the original NES games were designed to back in the day. And they had to figure out how to create an entertaining game within a space limit of an old NES cart. And I believe that limit was 40 kilobytes, which is tiny. They had to maximize sprite tables, they had to find a way to save space every place they could. And this resulted in a really great platformer. I think if you popped this one in and gave it a go, within the first level, I think you'd agree. I purchased this particular one on an NES cartridge hard copy, and I got it directly from the company, and I'm playing this on a retro USB AVS. You can also buy the game on Steam if you like. It's available there, no problem. Overall, I have to say this is a really clever platformer, and here you're playing a mage, and you're trying to make your way through a bunch of mazes to try to rescue your princess friend. You can play this as a multiplayer game, up to 4 players. 4 players for an NES game is rare. But this one does it. It's pretty awesome. And in this game you jump, you shoot an energy blast as an offensive weapon basically, and you can climb ropes, and you can climb and hang from walls. You're basically climbing upwards during the levels of this game, and as you continue to move upwards, the screen is scrolling up behind you. This actually creates an obstacle behind you. If the screen scrolls up past a platform, suddenly there's a void. And if you fall into the void, you lose your life. So you have to work on 2 aspects of this game, basically. You have to worry about climbing up the maze and not falling into the void, and you have to worry about all the various monsters that are wandering around that are sort of in your path as you make your climb upwards. So basically this is a constant struggle to try to balance the climbing of the game and jumping and firing at the same time. The climbing mechanics vary slightly, depending on the environment. If you're climbing a rope, you can just climb up the rope. You can let go and you'll hang there. And you can shoot while you're climbing. However, if you're climbing on a wall, you will slowly slide down the wall as you hang there. So basically this is you constantly jumping up and reattaching to the wall to sort of scroll and move upwards. You can of course shoot in between your jumps, and you're probably going to do that a lot depending on where you are. And also, depending on how the map is designed, this can actually be kind of difficult. Some walls can be destroyed, others can't. And you can accidentally get yourself trapped in parts of the maze, depending on how far the map has scrolled when you sort of get to certain areas. I think that'll become evident as you start playing the game. You can get hit once in this game before you die. That's it. You hit once, you're gone. But there are a couple of things that you can pick up as you progress that will affect this. There are shootable blocks in this game, and there are chests, and you shoot a chest and it opens up. And these are sort of spaced throughout the level, and when you shoot them, they can uncover a gem, which you get for points, or one of a couple of items. You can find a magic feather, and if you find a magic feather, that's you basically picking up a seagull, and the little seagull is going to stick out of the back of your backpack. Now if you jump and you hold the A button, you will glide across the space. The little bird will start flapping his wings, and you'll glide instead of jump. It's pretty interesting. You can also pick up a fairy. This fairy is in your inventory, basically, and it lets you survive getting hit once. If you press select, you can release the fairy. You can always scoop him back up right away, of course. This select button mechanic, I'm pretty sure you'd only use this in a multiplayer game, if you wanted to give it to one of your friends. Now, there are 4 different levels here, and there are multiple stages, and different bosses for each. I've gotten about halfway through the game so far. The first boss is this large ghost. And like many NES games here, you have to figure out the pattern that the ghost is going to run, and figure out how to shoot and destroy him before he manages to destroy you. It totally fits within what you would expect of an NES game, especially of that era. When I got to the second boss, it was kind of amusing because I got a lightning bolt to the face immediately from a boss that looked like Santa Claus to me. It was hilarious, and I died really fast. I was just waiting for the boss to show up, and I'm like, oh, Santa, and then bam, right in the face. It was amusing. Overall, I have to say this is a really fun platformer. If this game existed way back when the NES first came out, this would have been a top seller. basically all aspects of this game work. The visual style is great, the handling of your mage is great, you can play it multiplayer, and I think really overall this is just clever. It has a lot of character as a result of this. The music is great, it totally fits, and the animation for the little mages here, I know this is simple animations here, but it's perfect. There are so many Nintendo games out there where the avatars look ridiculous and they move horribly. Nope, these are absolutely polished. It's great. Your avatar is clearly, obviously, small on screen. I mean, micro mages, right? It looks great through their entire range of motion. It's just awesome. Clearly, they were really thinking when they made this game. I totally believe that. There are so many things they got right here. The gameplay is smooth. It's easy to understand. You can play multiplayer. The levels increase in complexity as you progress. The mazes get a little tougher, maybe a little faster at times. The enemies get more difficult. You can also set multiplayer to be even more difficult. You can set the multiplayer game so if one person dies, everybody loses. They've also included a password system into the game. If you want to pick up from a particular stage, you can just enter the code and start from there. How great is that? Just pay attention to the code on screen as you're beating the levels. I mean, other games in the NES range used a password system. That's not new. But they all didn't really succeed in this area. I remember plenty of password games that required some astronomically long password, and it made no sense why it would be so long. This, no, it's a reasonable string that you have to memorize or write down, I guess. It's just a decent password system. It's implemented well. Anyway, that's Micro Mages for the NES. I think this is a great game for the system, and the fact that there's multiplayer makes this one even better. If you haven't seen that documentary from the developers, I think you should go check it out. It's fantastic. Anyway, thanks for spending a few minutes on the channel, and I hope to catch you again in a later video.